I'm so glad I caught that. You know, I'm not even gonna go through all of that crap. That's the type of week it's been, Manny. We just had our cold open, didn't fucking record it. That's the week it's been.
Basically, yeah.
Oh my god. So glad I caught it that quickly though. Just like 4 minutes in. Jesus.
Yeah, because we would have been left without a show, so I don't have time to re-record.
Oh god, no. I would have just been like, nope, not doing it. Nope, not happening. Because I'll tell you what I do have to do is a bunch of Star Wars shit is about to hit the fan today. If people are fans of certain YouTubers, you've probably already seen them out there spinning. And guys, please read every article that goes up today. Read it yourself for full context, and then check out a live edition of the Cantina sometime around 5:30, 6 o'clock Eastern time, PM today, for LRM and our breakdown of what is potentially being said in some of these things. Manny, I know you like Star Wars, but your finger's not as much on the pulse of like Lucasfilm, right?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that won't bug down too much, but here's the thing. Dave Filoni has allegedly got a new title at Lucasfilm with the word creative in it, and people are looking at that in certain ways. To us here, it falls in line with what we've been saying, that it looks like they're going to, in this restructuring, create a Feige-like position for Kennedy, where they added more stuff under him when they restructured, because they're doing that with Lucasfilm, and that there's going to be compartmentalization with Star Wars, with books and TV and movies and stuff. And that's exactly what appears to be happening. Just some people are using it as like the one group one or whatever, but better analysis on the Cantina.
I think it's really cute that people think that they really influence the giant the giant corporation that is Disney. While there is some influence, it's people's opinion has really nothing to do with it. It's just all about the almighty dollar. So
that's the influence. They did pay attention to that.
It's funny. Well, I guess if that floats your boat for the day and makes you feel better.
I just look, you and I have talked about, we love money, and
Yes.
I try my hardest to make sure that whatever we do or say here that's within my control is either A, for entertainment purposes, or if it's for news purposes. I try to be clear, and I will never say somebody can't clickbait, can't stir shit, because whatever. But I just wish more people would take time to read the source article themselves. Like, if you like, I'll throw out, and I'm not accusing any of these people of doing anything negative in particular, but you might like a guy like Mike Zero for Star Wars. You might like a guy like Star Wars Theory for Star Wars news. Either way, if you like, you might also like the Cantina here at LRM and on the Genreverse podcast network. But whatever we talk about, take the source article and read it yourself for context. Do you catch yourself sometimes reading a headline or a tweet excerpt only, or do you still really push yourself to go into an article, Manny?
No, I can't just read a headline anymore. Just I have Well, because I'm on here, because I write, because I'm doing so much with different properties, it would be really irresponsible for me just to take it on a headline alone, or a tweet. Even if it's from a higher reputable source, I have to see where they got it from, because they may have got it from somebody who we've already kind of flagged as really, really shaky.
Mm-hmm.
And and sometimes, yeah, it's okay to talk about it, but at the same time, uh let's not put out things that I mean, sometimes, yeah, they're rumors, and it's okay to talk about rumors, just as long as you label it that way. But we have a responsibility to the people to try and bring the most correct and honest stuff that's going on. Because I know that, for example, if I go to my day job today and just started making things up, the fact is that for a while at least they would believe me, because I'm a reputable source, right?
Yeah.
So I have a responsibility to make sure that whatever I'm blabbing out about any property, I'm it's honest, and at least it's has some sort of base on it, rather than just it being just my fan theory that I'm hoping comes true, or something
Yeah.
that way, or something just sensational to try to get clicks, right?
Exactly. Exactly. There is one, and I'm not gonna throw their name out there, because it's one thing to do a clickbait title. It's another thing to doctor a tweet picture, to take a legit, blank of a real Twitter profile, and then to doctor in fake tweets, so that way the average person, or a brand new person that catches that thumbnail in their feed goes, oh my, is that real? Star Wars is tweeting out Kathleen Kennedy is gone, and it's like, dude, that's low. That's almost as low as the Star Wars guy that decided to make fun of my stutter and shit like that on the article, but podcast last week. But yeah, I can't stand that type of sleaze. Like, God, don't do that. Don't doctor tweets and make them your thumbnail. Um, yeah, we'll get into the nitty gritty with that, but I like how you bring it to where it affects more, and it's not just uh Star Wars, and not even just pop culture. That tribalism mentality,
Hmm.
dude, is like becoming incredibly pervasive through all of
Yeah.
culture. It's no longer just Star Wars geeks versus Star Trek nerds, or Marvel versus DC. I mean, it's like uh Peter Parker Spider-Man versus Miles Morales Spider-Man type tribalism. It's
Yeah,
getting
Snyderverse
crazy.
universe versus the world and stuff like that.
Oh, did you hear her? I didn't see it. Christine mentioned it to me last night. Apparently, Snyder mentioned there's a director's cut of Sucker Punch that exists.
I don't know why it would.
Oh man, and what do you think is up with him, and just his uh um like the release of the Green Lantern stuff, like, yeah, there it goes, coming soon slash film. CBR all ran articles on it within the last 48 hours, that he does have a director's cut. God damn. Oh! I don't want to hear his name anymore. I'm with Christine. I'm almost on the anti Zack Snyder thing. Just, this is craziness, dude. What is up with that?
I don't know. It feels like he drank his own Kool-Aid, because one of the things I mentioned a lot is the release of the Justice League Snyder Cut was going to finally put an end to this, and
Nope.
absolutely not. It's made it far worse now.
Oh God, dude, I just I have no idea what to do with stuff like that. Like I get it. You had a bad experience at Warner Brothers. Like I got it, but this type of public show, I think there's a better way to approach it as a creative with things like, you know, is our Army of the Dead, which a lot of people seem to really like. He seemed to have a lot of fun with it, and you know, I hear a lot of positive both on screen and behind camera for that. Overall, I know there was some cast issues and things, but like that's the route you go. You go, okay, that sucked. I don't ever want to do that again. And then I'm not saying don't say, hey, this did suck, but when it's like, not only did this suck, but it also sucked here, and it was bad this way, and oh, I didn't get to do this little 2 minute segment, and I couldn't. It's like, dude, the salt is already in the wound. Like, geez, I don't know. Am I being too harsh?
No, it's just I've almost stopped listening to it completely. Just now you're showing pictures of Green Lantern. Now you're talking about how WB made your return so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you seem so happy the entire time. I just really don't know what to make of it as far as why, and
Yeah.
it's just not gonna happen. I don't know what you plan to get out of it. It's pretty ridiculous. It's
No.
one of those things where I've always talked about. It's that children's story. If you give a mouse a cookie, or if you
Right.
give a moose a muffin, you know they're gonna ask for more, and they're gonna ask for more, and that's just what it is. That's why you're also not supposed to give in to something like this.
Yeah.
Just let it be. This is not the same as Sonic, where it was just really bad CGI, and the entire thing was presented uh, badly as far as character design. This is something that was just a really bad decision, kind of like the first Suicide Squad was, or
Jeez.
or
Tell us how you really feel.
or Snyder's or Joel Schumacher's Batman films. You just got to move on from them. I mean, Iron Man 3 happened. That was a bad decision. Thor Dark World happened. That was a horrible decision. Ultron happened. Also, just a horrific decision.
That was not horrific. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't horrific. Come on. BVS, that was horrific.
BVS, I'm with Jammer on BVS. So,
no, you guys are both
Ultron.
terrible people.
Ultron was one of the ones that needed to actually have been directed by Zack Snyder. All that killing, all of that darkness, that has to come out of Ultron.
Yeah.
Ultron should in no way or form should be cracking jokes,
right,
being sarcastic.
Well, it's
like I know why it's done. It's stupid. It's bad.
For those that don't get what we're saying, maybe you don't know Ultron's comic history. In the comics, he's created by Hank Pym, who's got a very different personality in the comics than you see in these movies. And in these movies, Ultron's created by Stark, so Stark and Banner. So he's got sarcasm and jokes and stuff versus I'm going to bitch smack my wife or spray her with bug spray when she's a mutant in the Ultimate Universe. Hank Pym, asshole. So,
yeah, that was pretty bad.
What was that?
That guy's pretty bad, yeah.
He's fucking trash, man. I was one of those people when they were talking Ant-Man once they took it from animated and Edgar Wright and everything like that, and they announced it was going to be Lang. I was like, no, guys, that's a good choice. Like, you get to avoid a lot of stuff by going with Scott Lang. I honestly didn't expect them to make Hank as big a part of it as they have. Honestly, to see Douglas in both Ant-Man movies and in game, um, I I'm cool with it. They're never going to explore the dark side, but I'm fine with it. But yeah, I I let me ask you about this, because I see you enjoy some comic book movies more than others, and I see some uh character arcs or traits from comics matter more than others. You're not like a purist like Jace appears to be more often, where he really wants like panel to screen. You've got wiggle room. What kind of why what makes something matter more than something else that the movies can play with versus what they can't in your mind?
Well, I mean, it's just the real essence of the character. Like, for example, I always make fun of him, of Jace, for his dislike of Man of Steel and the portrayal of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand where he's coming from. That's not Superman. That's
Yeah.
that's a different character. In the end, he does kind of end up embodying Superman at the end of Justice League, where he's the man who he's the Man of Steel, and he's the one who really saves the day. But it almost seems like he's more of a darker, broody character, and he shouldn't be. The only one who should be that way is Batman.
Yeah.
So when you take characters like that have so much history, that have so much meaning to people, it's important for you to try to get the essence right. For me, that's why Tom Holland's Spider-Man works so well, because he really seems like that teenager that's
Mm-hmm.
still trying to figure everything out, and at the same time try to hold that with great power comes great responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
and figure out what that means. Tony Stark was just a perfect example of just something done really, really well. Um, for the most part, I think, even another good one is and it's kind of cartoony, but that's just the way the character is built, back so many decades ago. Shazam, with Billy Batson. Is it kind of cartoony and weird and wonky? And yeah, it is, but
I really enjoyed that movie.
it's a kid in a man's body, so yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
look weird. But getting that essence right, getting some of it right. I mean, like, I think one of my biggest problems was uh Marvel Studios calling that one film Civil War, because it missed on so many of the important parts of the actual Civil War, and why it was so impactful, and why it was so important, and why it was so divisive between the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it was very clear that Captain America was wrong, and and just the way that that all played out. It was it a good movie? Yeah, it was a good movie. It
So
wasn't Civil War.
how's Cap wrong?
Cap was wrong. He should
How is
have
Cap wrong?
a Winter Soldier should have always been brought in. He committed crimes,
Okay.
and
Okay.
there's no reason why he should
Got
have
got
been
got
abetted by him.
got it. I thought you meant like he was wrong to be against the Accords, the idea of the Avengers being a UN agency.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no. See,
Okay.
that's one of the things. No, just that the whole thing really came about just being about the Winter Soldier and Cap,
Yeah.
and that was pretty messed up, that he knew that Tony Stark was what happened to his parents, and Tim kind of still omit that.
Mm-hmm.
So that entire sequence just really put a sour taste in my mouth as far as the Marvel Studios, and kind of doctoring stories, because that's a huge one, and has huge implications when Peter Parker takes off his mask. That's big,
Yeah.
and just things like that. And so that's why although it was a good film, I've always disliked that movie, because that one's really far away from
Mm.
some of the most important points in stories. And yeah, so and
They had
mhm.
kind of like I think maybe if they had stuck more with it being about the Accords bit and seen more of like the Avengers work versus the Secret Avengers work, and made it like that versus, you know, the, oh, we gotta prove Bucky's innocence storyline. Maybe that could have made up for the pigeonhole of most of the characters don't have a secret identity. Most of the, you know, characters are no other than Parker. Really, you know, he's the only one, and he would, his unmasking wouldn't mean anything at that point, because there's,
right,
you
because
know, so right. And so I think I agree, if you could pull the story away from Bucky more and focus again more on that ideological split of who watches the Watchmen. You know, that aspect of Civil War. Yeah, I could get that.
Yeah. Like I would have been okay. Just change the name. That's it. Change the name, and you could even say it's inspired by Civil War.
Yeah.
But it's just a simple thing of change the name, and now you have the opportunity a little bit later, especially now with Fox properties and everyone, Fantastic Four and X-Men, because you know that's important. The X-Men are important in this story. Now you can properly in the future do Civil War and make it more impactful, because if you read comics, you know that Civil War 2 sucked also. So
Yes.
um,
Yes, it did. Yeah. That's actually a great time for us to take a brain reset and not think about Civil War 2 and take a word from our sponsors real quick from over at growgeneration.com. Take it away.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. For all of your cultivation needs, Grow Generation has the right products, service and staff to make your grow successful. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Thank you guys so much for sponsoring the show. Go check them out. Tell them who sent you. The Daily Cup of Genre from LRM Online, Genreverse Podcast Network. You don't have to put all of that. Just say the Daily COG, LRM Online. There you go. Manny, I saw an article, because it was written in my house, that the that the biggest action scene coming up in the Suicide Squad is going to be Harley. James Gunn said, quote, she can do anything, or I thought she could do anything, and then one day she had to sing, and I said, okay, well, you can do everything but one thing. But she's that's funny. But she's such a great actress. She embodies the character. She's able to do the comedy and the drama, and then he gets to the part where I also wrote the biggest action scene I've ever done all around Robbie's character Harley, and it was so fun to create, just on every level, from working with the stunt guys all the way to working with her. DC, since the first Suicide Squad film hit, and women all over the America, the West world, I don't know, just all of a sudden wanted to be tortured by clowns and being in a toxic relationship and like support that. But ever since then, Warner Brothers has just been like, Harley, which it makes money, but why
this is where you're wrong, Kyle. Suicide Squad was not the beginning of Harley Quinn's uprising. The beginning of Harley Quinn's uprising, I 100%.
Batman the animated series.
Nope. I actually 100% credit it
What?
to Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor's run on her title Harley Quinn, where she finally takes off and does her things on her own. You should have seen the lines, man. All over the state at conventions, just people just in lines to get to meet Jimmy and Amanda for their run. They're very great people, by the way, and they're awesome to hang out with.
Cool.
Jason and I have had that opportunity several times, and
well, that may have been a rise in the comic book world, but those weren't the people that liked Suicide Squad, because comic book people hated Suicide Squad.
It's that portrayal, it's that character that Margot Robbie brought. As a matter of fact, when on set, she would show off some of their comic books, and I mean, it has to start somewhere. That's really the starting point for it. That essence, that theme of liberty, and it's I got excited for it because they had done something different with the character and given her such a better characterization as her own self.
After the first Suicide Squad movie, you mean?
No, during the comic book, it's not about the Suicide Squad, man. It's about her portrayal of comics, and that's where Suicide Squad came from, and that's where now Margot Robbie has elevated the character. Because if there's one thing that I've always found incredibly stupid, is anyone who thinks that, like kind of you were mentioning a few seconds ago, anyone who thinks that Joker and Harley are relationship goals. That is the dumbest and the most ignorant comment I've ever heard, because if you know 3 minutes of their relationship, you know that is the most absolute toxic relationship that you find many women across the world trying to get out of.
Yes, desperately trying to get out of.
And so Harley is really a symbol of that freedom that you're able, now she is at least able to get out of it and able to become her own person. And really now, as Jim Lee called it, she's one of the pillars of DC with with the Trinity that we know and love. It's great. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that she has, quote unquote, the biggest scene in Suicide Squad, because she is the marquee character.
Yeah, I don't read the comics, and it's very, very interesting way to put it, because she was created for the animated series, right?
Her first introduction was in
and that's where, besides the certain Batman books that she's appeared in, and then other video media, that's the only thing I had ever seen. And then you learn about, well, that in and of itself is a terrible relationship, but nowhere near as bad as it was in the comics. And when you read in the comics, and then you get to the first Suicide Squad movie, and the romanticization of that I think I said a made up word, maybe, that it just blew my mind. And I guess maybe that's why I kind of am put off by that whole character, the whole thing around her is, and it's not Robbie's fault. It's not even I blame Warner Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just put me off that bad to see so many people react to Leto and her character's relationship in such a I was just like, no, this is gross, and I don't want anything. So I don't know how to get myself out of that mindset. How could Manny? How do I get to enjoy Robbie come August as Harley? How do I get there, man? Teach me.
How do you? What do you mean? How do you get there?
I was kind of making a slight joke, but like, what is there a graphic novel title or a trade title or something to help read to get into this character's mindset?
Just read Jimmy and Amanda's run. There's a specific issue. It's so beautifully done where she really claims her independence with the Joker, and kind of goes on her own. at what, issue 24, 25. There's also a couple of issues where she's still trying to figure out if she is she trying to be a good guy or is she still a bad guy. And then there's just some issues where she goes off the rails because her loved ones are being hurt. If there's something that Harley does really, really well, she loves hard, and she will protect the one she cares about. Luckily, she's an animal enthusiast, so a lot of times it's it's orphan dogs and cats and animals, and anyone who lives in her apartment building. The Harley Quinn series on HBO Max now is a really good starting point. That also does the thing. The Harley Quinn animated series is fantastic. It's done very, very well. Cool. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's one of the best things that DC Universe put out.
Was it like a one and done? Is it still going? Getting more?
Dude, like, do you not know? How do you not know about this? It's already 2 seasons. They're going on their 3rd.
I just explained it to you. Like, I just explained and then asked you to help me, which you did, and then you hit me over the head again. If
I had a Harley Giant's hammer, I would hit you with it right now. It's a really good series.
Yeah.
It's very well thought out and 100% like reading a comic book on screen.
Cool.
And it does not one of the things that's really good about it, because it was on the DC Universe and now HBO Max, it didn't hold back on language or commentary or even just making fun of DC itself. There's an entire episode that takes place in the prison from Dark Knight Rises underground. And then the villains are actually very well developed, where kind of their insecurities as villains are really highlighted. So it makes for a very, very good time. And then it's just so well done. And at the end of it, by the end of season 2, you get this payoff moment that fans have been waiting for a very long time in both TV, movies, and comics. So, yeah.
Cool. I have like a similar issue with an actress, to where it's just like anything that she's in, it's really hard for me to want to watch it. And I can't explain 100% why. It's because of characters I've seen her play in the past, even in a movie that I like, and that's Helena Bonham Carter. I can't stand her as Marla in Fight Club, but I fucking love Fight Club. And then several of her things that she did with Burton and Depp, I couldn't stand, and so I can't really get excited about movies that she's in. But then she'll do something like the King's Speech with Jeffrey Rush, or Joffrey Rush, or however the Australian dude that played Barbosa in Pirates. Yeah, Jeffrey. Okay. And then Firth, Colin Firth, man, King's Speech. And I didn't always have a stutter, ladies and gentlemen, but I'll tell you what, that the former King of England definitely had it way worse than I did, but I got a really cool appreciation for Rush's character and what they went through, having seen that movie before my car accident and since. So yeah, really cool, man. Yeah, what's awesome, look what you and I just did. There's a character that I didn't get, not into, and instead of being all pig-headed and stuff like that, it's like, hey, it's changed. Let me give it another shot. Let me try it. You know what I'm saying? That's see people. It's not that hard. It's not scary. It's not scary to try new things, or to even try old things that may have changed. Your tastes in food changed as you got older, right? So
it's funny you mentioned that, because last night we were doing our coverage on the bounty hunter war,
yeah,
or whatever it's called. I didn't know this.
War of the Bounty Hunters.
War of the Bounty Hunters,
I think. Yeah.
And I was at the end of the podcast. I told Jace, I was like, look at us covering Star Wars books. It just made us happy because we wanted to do it, but we just never got a chance to. But it was a Darth Vader book that we need a little bit more context with. I didn't do it, but Jace went back and actually read some of the earlier issues, and so now it really broadened our scope as far as some of the books. But yeah, it's in the same note. Just if you're really interested in something, or you want to get to know something, there's always that one person who can guide you in the right direction. I know that Jace is guiding me also in the right direction of what X-Men to read, because I want to read good X-Men books, but unfortunately that's not happening in the present time. So there's quite a few runs actually that
you mean
be taking a look at.
Hickman can't save everything.
I mean, yeah, Hickman does this, like you seen that board with the guy who's like super like neurotic, and like that's what Hickman did with X-Men right now. And it's like, why'd you have to, in the words of Avril Lavigne, why'd you have to go and make it so complicated?
Yeah. I mean, look, Mark Millar, Slott, Hickman. Those are three giant names in comics that had huge impacts in Marvel, and in Hickman's case, still having, whether you call them any of their impacts positive or negative, but those all used to be names when they would appear, you would be like, oh,
yeah,
yes. And
ooh,
now all three of them now have times where their names appear and you go,
yeah, it's like
I'm not sure this time.
These things change through time, man.
It's crazy.
It's funny because like John Romita Jr.'s art used to be so good, and then he went over to DC and just made boxes. Like I don't understand. He like all the characters in the same pose, and he's such a great guy also. But his recent stuff, man, is just awful. Like and I'm glad he's back at Marvel and stopped drawing Superman. Or he's doing this Magneto cover that's just.
I always noticed, yes, there are plenty of DC books that get stylistic and a lot more creative, but there's always kind of, at least in the main books, there feels like an anchor style for DC's books. Now they vary by world or character, but there's an anchor there, and I wonder if maybe he had trouble adjusting to that anchor. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. They tried to let him. He got to do it. It was a big deal when he came over. John Romita, DC, that was a big deal,
right?
And then it was like, what is this stuff? Like this is so bad. Like, and then I've talked to him a few times. He's such a great guy. He's very easy to talk to, and so I was like, man, dude, like stuff sucks so much now. Like, but no, I didn't tell him that. But
I know.
I still bought a print from him. He's still done so much for the industry and everything.
Absolutely,
he got his place in the comic book world, but like you said, things change, and so characters change, arcs change. Like just right now, Bendis's run on Superman was horrible.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, like just things like that. But
I haven't liked Bendis writing a long form book since like or maybe 08, 09 when he was doing New Avengers, and Sentry was still running around and stuff. Like those were pretty good. I think Luke Cage was in charge of the New Avengers at that point. And him and Jones had just had a kid. So yeah. Anyways, comic books are fun. You guys should go to your local comic book shop and talk to the person or other people there and ask, What would you recommend? I like horror movies, or I like romance movies, or I like slapstick comedy, because I guarantee you in that comic book shop is a comic book for you.
What's strange is how a comic book creator was on Twitter talking about how he went to a comic book shop just to kind of get a vibe of what everyone's buying.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently right now, just across the board, with like Marvel and DC specifically, things are not very good. And what comic book fans are doing now is instead of following characters, they're following creators.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have different creators going to different places to kind of make their own ideas happen.
Yep.
And it turns out that those are the stories that are doing a little bit better right now, because I don't know what's going on with the big two. Well, I know what's going on with DC. They're trying to figure out who owns what. But I just I've been crossing my fingers for one of those Marvel reboots where they just start over, like
Yeah.
they like to put out number ones, but they don't like to start over. It's almost like they do their books in seasons now, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, I want like fresh start Marvel characters so I can jump in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why I have to go back in the past apparently, because that's where all the good stuff is.
that was the one promising thing when I jumped back on for a few Cape books in 2016, was that post Secret War promised a point, and it was okay, but then they fucked it up. And like you said, they do like seasonally based crossover events, and it's like, I remember when a crossover event happened once every few years, and then once a year, now like 8 times a year. And you got to get all the variants. It's called oversaturation, guys.
Oh,
and you wonder
what
the problem is. Order this many books to get this variant, which you know is going to be worth money. So you order that many books, and then guess what?
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Recyclable.
Yeah. Do you it's funny because I look at the boom in the 90s. Do you remember when they started thinking that, oh, there's money in the comic books, and they started printing everything?
Yes.
And so now, like, most books from the 90s are worth crap.
Nothing.
And it's because of the just a little quick history lesson. The reason why Golden Age books are worth so much is because some of them were written before the Depression, and there was parents and there was who were using kids' comic books to make fires and to plaster their walls and things like that. They were just, they're like newspapers pretty much. Yep. And they were just worthless. So the fact of the matter is that there's only so many left in the world of certain books, and that's what makes them valuable. Not always the first appearance is going to make. Let's take it. First appearance of Spawn. How many first appearances of Spawn were printed?
Yeah.
There's too many, so it's not worth anything because you can pick one up almost anywhere. So
yeah, and it's illegal for people to buy en masse and destroy for the purpose of driving up the price in many places. Rightfully so. It's just like the run on Pokemon cards right now.
Oh my god!
Few people on Twitter and YouTube open up old like base set 1 jungle expansion, fossil, early 98 99 to 2000 era type cards, and they think that those packs that you see in mass at Walmart and Target and GameStop and Spencer's and Amazon and Best Buy and CVS, and they think that those are going to be worth a lot of money. Yes, there are rares in there. That's how TCGs work. They're lottery for kids, guys. Really, in my opinion, the trading card game is like the original loot box. like CCGs or TCCGs, whatever you want to call them. That's like the original gambling device for kids in the first fucking loot box.
Dude, like they made Target go, okay, guys, no more.
Because a guy,
I was like, are you kidding me?
And I want to make one outstanding observation. A lot of people think, because the headline was that a gun was pulled. And yes, indeed, it was. The gentleman was carrying rightfully and legally, and he was the one that was jumped by four people. He pulled his gun in self-defense. No one was shot. No one was killed. And, you know, thankfully, but people sensationalized that aspect versus the fact that a person had to defend. And it doesn't matter if he had bought those cards for himself, for a nephew, for his kid, for a niece. Like the fact that someone had to defend their lives over cards, because people might say, "Oh, yeah, if you get pushed or punched a couple times, you might not die. You fall the wrong way on your head. That's it. You could die just like that. You know, somebody gets you in the wrong type of bear hug and cracks a rib, and now you got a punctured lung. You go into tension pneumonia. Like, none of that. Yeah, guys, over cards. Come on now, and they're not going to be worth money. The sports cards, maybe, because you get a rookie year, but there's still a lot of those printed during that year. It's going to take a long time for that guy's cards to be lost, destroyed in floods, fires, and thrown away by people before it becomes rare. So yeah, what's the point of this? Oh, don't be stupid and think something's worth money and jump a guy in Target's parking lot over it.
That is just nuts, man, because Pokemon's not even that great.
Oh my God, are you just trying to shit on me all day long?
Have you seen the newer generations of Pokemon?
Okay.
Oh my God.
The new stuff? No. I was gonna say that first Game Boy game is like one of the greatest RPGs ever.
Oh yeah. Okay. We all had it. Yeah.
Good.
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about the new evolution to where Pokemon is now.
Yeah, that's where it's like
it's like you guys, like, that's what you guys decided to make as a Pokemon,
They're
garbage bag,
robot looking things, and
I saw on
armor stuff, and
yeah, I saw on I think the Dynamax is stupid, by the way, but I do think that the bunny's cute. I will tell you that. What's the name of something? He's a fire bunny, and because one of his moves in the game, because I have Sword and Shield, because I still enjoy playing Pokemon like hell. Whatever.
They're good RPGs.
He has this like soccer move where he'll take like a charcoal ember on fire, and he'll just like kick it at you. It's just cool. It's just cool. What's it? Damn it! What's the name of the bunny? Bunny in Pokemon.
I Flareon was like one of my favorite flame types to have, just because his speed was really good.
What's that? Flareon, yeah. Oh, Score Bunny.
Oh, Score Bunny. Okay.
Yeah. I was always more of a like a Haunter Gengar guy. Like that's what I like, the psychic, and I never understood why Alakazam has spoons, but.
you know now, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. For the what was his name? He wore the pyramid hat. It's like Alexander something, isn't it? A guy in the 70s and 80s that claimed he could bend spoons. It was a hoax, and that's for the audience that might not know. Crowley. That's his last name. Yeah. Anyways, I think that'll about do it for us today, guys. Pokemon cards, action, Harley Quinn, and learning, teaching me about a good jump on point to reset my brain about the character and whatever we talked about at first after losing 4 minutes of the show. It's like Disneyland, man. Nothing works on day one.
Well.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us this last week, and continue to join us. Please hit the subscribe button. See the wonderful social media information down below. Keep looking for all the wonderful changes and artworks coming up. LRM Online is happy to be doing the Genreverse podcast network. But guys, it's nothing changed. Like I still see people freaking out. Stop. Anyways, Cantina later today, live. Like I said, 5:30, 6 o'clock, depending. Lots of Star Wars stuff to dig into. And then Anime Versal reviews. No Dr. Stone this week again. Funimation, what the fuck? Which means I get to yell at Sony because they own all of it now. So Sony, what the fuck? But we do have a plan in place. With that, Manny, interviews side. What you got coming up, man?
Today, May 21st is the release of a new film from Neon Rated called New Order, and it won the top prize at last year's Venice International Film Festival. So I actually had the privilege of interviewing Michel Franco. He is the director. He's fantastic. Also one of the lead actresses. We have Amy Garcia for the new MODOK series that's already up on the site. And then also I have an interview with David Cross going up today on his new feature film, The Dark Divide. And then today I will be talking with one of the actresses from the new Conjuring film. So that's going to be up early next week. And as well as a bunch of other stuff because they don't stop.
It's only going to get more exciting as more movies are coming out and things are opening up. Manny, guess what happens this afternoon? I'm getting my Bill Gates tracker put in.
That's not good. That's not good. I know you're joking, but the problem is I know
Some
people think it's real.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. I already, and even if it was, I can guarantee you guys the army put one in me long ago.
People don't want to get tracked, but they're happy to, have one of these, right?
Yeah, no, right?
It's like I don't want the government to track me, but they have an Alexa. They have Alexa devices at their house.
They have no VPN. They don't even know what a VPN is. They're using the stock password on their routers and stuff like that. Check out Tech Tuesday, guys, on the Daily COG genre. We'll help you out with some of that stuff. I'm done talking for now, Manny. I get my shot. I'm excited. Everyone, do what's good for you by your doctors and your health and your and all of that. Follow your state rules, regulations, and yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.